Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Dugout Football channel. And yes, as you can see, I am very, very choked with a cold. But I have actually had, yes, the dreaded CV19 again. Yes, it has hit me like a rock this time, I'll be honest. But I managed to get a little bit better. I managed to get onto here to do a match preview. And we do actually have Leicester City in Singapore, which is very, very interesting to say at the very, very least. Joining me is Mr. Brad Purkis from the Leicester Till I Die quiz channel. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, mate. Dodging COVID, so unfortunately I can't sympathise too much. Well, I can sympathise with you, but I can't share the pain that you've been suffering. But that aside, yeah, mate, I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
I would ask how you are, but you've just told everybody not very well.
Yeah, I'm much better. I'm much better. I'm on the water at the moment. So yeah, I'm just yeah, no, there's definitely something going through. But yeah, COVID is definitely right, people. I can definitely say that as well. And hello to everyone on Leicester Till I Die TV as well, because obviously we are joint streaming. We're joint streaming on this channel, and we're also joint streaming on Leicester Till I Die. Also, a big hello to Chris. I know you are watching. I know you're not doing too well at the moment, so do take care as well. And I will say hello to a few of you, because I have seen a few of you in here. Hello, Jigster. Nice to see you back in the chat, my friend. Hope you are well. Hello, Rennie. I'm okay, mate. Hope you are good. Zane, evening, mate. Hope you're good. Rennie saying evening to Brad. Hello, Leicester for life. Just sub. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Also, hi, Brad. I've got COVID too. Why has everyone got it again now? It just seems to be rife again, mate. It just seems to be rife again, which is quite crazy. Quite crazy when you think about it. But yeah, obviously look after yourselves as well. One thing. Just say hello to Douglas Brad. Hello to Rennie. Hello Terry Fuller. Hope you are well. Hello. Leicester for Life, hey, good evening. And Heaton Whittle is in as well. Good evening as well. So it's all change at Leicester, Brad. Obviously, some of the players that have gone out, obviously Harvey Barnes, James Maddison, Johnny Evans, of course, as well. But you can kind of say that it's been a bit of a rebuild, sort of, haven't you? Because you have brought in Harry Winks and you brought in Connor Cody.
Yeah, and also Callum Doyle on loan from Man City, which is one of the 750,000 players linked from Man City to us. never Kevin De Bruyne linked with us, but I suppose Callum Doyle's just as worthy being here. So yeah, I think we kind of knew it was going to happen. In a messed up way, I think, with how terrible last season is, I'm kind of glad we just went down and didn't become like a Southampton, and most notably. At the moment, it's Everton, who are just stinking the league out. I'm sure Liverpool fans will love me saying that about Everton, but you know, a team that kind of keeps just avoiding relegation, and then 4 or 5 seasons they eventually fall for the trap. We've kind of still got that emphasis about us as well. I know we went through a financial fair play kind of not breach, but we were really pushing the strains with our wage structure. That's been misinterpreted. We're not a broke club by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, our owner wrote off over £100 million worth of debt. So
yeah,
we're still a very, admirable club to come and join. I mean, I know it's very scripted in terms of the question new signers get asked, and probably their responses. They're not going to sign for a club and go, "Nah, I've just come here for the money, mate." It's very, but. We've got a great training facility. We're hoping to potentially bounce back at the first attempt. And we've got rid of players that we know are quality players, and we've seen them play quality football for us. But we kind of knew, regardless of the league we were in, we're gonna go this season. Yeah. I mean, my biggest surprise is how the hell we managed to get 30. Well, I've seen 2 amounts. Not that there's much difference between them. But how the hell we managed to get 38 or 39 million for Harvey Barnes when we sold Maddison for 40, and also we haven't paid a lot for these players. People talking about Leicester being the Man City of the Championship. we're about to break our spending for this season if all the rumours are true on a I can never say it, Montpellier, is that right? The French side, Montpellier, winger for 7 million. Now, I know in the Championship, some teams will say 7 million is our entire funding, and I get that to the point, but everybody expects Leicester to go around spending 20, 30 million. We haven't done that so far this window, so it's one of them things you don't really think about it, but it might be the best thing to happen to Leicester since some European adventures, at least.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you've managed to keep sort of the bulk of your squad as well. Like I've noticed. Obviously, you've got a natural there at the moment. Vardy's still there. Daka's still there. We were obviously talking off air about obviously Castagna as well. He seems to be being linked away as well. You've also got Ricardo Pereira still there as well, which is good to see. So you have sort of kept the bulk of your squad, and you are getting players in at the right time. And yes, that's Mavadidi, I think is how you say it. I'm not going to pronounce that again because I'll butcher the name anyway. But do you feel? And I asked Chris this as well, and he said it was very, very unfair to say this, but would you say that Leicester City are probably favourites to go straight back up?
I think naturally they are. I mean, you look at the strength of that squad. I was one of them that I actually got quite angry with some fellow Leicester fans that maybe suggested that Leicester were too good to go down. I hate that expression. No club is ever too good to go down. It's all about your work ethic and how you go about your business. No business is too good to go under. If they stop performing and stop bothering and caring like we saw last season, or the change in personnel completely ruins the company, that you'll go bust. So no clubs ever, quality wise, has got is too good to go down. But then to kind of backhand what I've just said, you look at the depth of our squad, you look at the squad that's still around, and bear in mind, we're knocking on the door of August already. It's flowing by, and with the Championship, we start obviously a week earlier than in the Premier League. In terms of looking for a settled 20, 25 players to be at the squad that are going to be here past the close of the window at the end of August, you've mentioned a few names there. Ndidi, Chowdhury's still there, Ricardo Pereira. Take it with a pinch of salt, maybe, but Pereira's a lot in the press sort of things. He's always there for the photo kits. He's doing a lot of reports. You tend to only give that responsibility if a player's really keen to stay. Like you said, Iheanacho, Daka. So naturally, a neutral would look at Leicester and go, well, surely they piss the league and come back up. With that comes pressure, but it's all about the right acquisitions and the right players around in that squad. And I think from the word go, Leicester fans have got the feeling that this Enzo he won't take any players crap. If you come into training and you're slacking around and you're differing whether you want to be here or not, or you're disappointed that no one's coming for you, he won't put an arm around you in that situation. He'll tell you, you best go speak to your agent then, mate, because I don't want you here. If you don't want to be here,
he does strike the kind of manager to not take any bullshit off anyone. So a bit like obviously Ange Postecoglou in Tottenham, he looks like another manager that won't take any nonsense from anybody. So I've got to say I do think that you guys are looking really, really good. I'll go back into the comments. Hello, Chris, all the way from Las Vegas. Yes, hope you're enjoying Las Vegas, mate. I imagine it's pretty warm over there.
Put it all on black. Put it all on black. That's what I say.
Mavadidi. It sounded easier to say, Rennie, to say the very least. Change is good for both teams, says Jigster. Absolutely. Yes, Chris, Championship is very hard to predict. There is no doubt about that. Chris Ross, long time no see. Spurs won the Tiger Cup. Were they great? Enough of that. Hi, Blue Fox. Hope you're well.
I'm sure they'll get the flags out for it with all the stripes on it.
I bet. Des, I'll come back to your question very, very shortly, mate. Hello, Nate. Hope you're good. Hello, Panoff as well. Hello to Brian Morrissey. Why are there two streams? It's sort of a joint stream. I don't know if Chris has managed to I did actually notice that he has actually put 2 streams on his channel, so I don't know. That may have been a mistake. You need to ask him, of course. Even Brian, we're not frozen. Leicester will certainly be in the top 6. Going to be a lot of teams competing for 2 automatic spots. Yeah, 100%. They're not frozen. Thank you. Take it off pause. Yeah, interesting. Yeti boys and hello Yeti boy. Hope you are well. Don't worry, it's my connection. I hate hot weather. Not a smart decision to go to Vegas. 40 degrees. Wow. Get that factor 50 on you.
That's why you go into casinos, mate, where they run the air conditioning and keep you awake.
When is the game? Yeah, Brian, it's 10 o'clock on Sunday. It's a very early kickoff. It is in Singapore. And the safest thing to say is basically get up early. Because it is a 10 o'clock kickoff. 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. Yeah.
It's crazy. You'll start giving the UK, the Premier League ideas. We'll start having 10 o'clock kickoffs on a Sunday. So don't.
I know. I was thinking that. Leicester suffering the Rodgers effect. Subpar signings replacing better players. No problems. Anything happens to all. That's all. Yeah, that's all. It's safe to say, Brad, that your pre-season, well, you've only had 1 game, and that was Northampton Town, and you beat 1-0. And then we had the farce in, Thailand, where Tottenham, Leicester City, complete monsoon weather, ladies and gentlemen, monsoon weather. Yeah, they have obviously been planning this for a number of weeks, a number of months. Monsoon weather, and yet somehow they tried to get the game back on and waited until 11:45 to announce it was off. I mean, we could see from the pictures that Chris was showing that the pitch was completely waterlogged.
Yeah, you'd have had a better chance of completing the 100 metres butterfly stroke than you would have a game of football on the pitch. It was awful. I mean, we have had to compensate that, and we've had actually 3 games behind closed doors. We had FC Port. We played, I can never pronounce them, our sister club, the Belgian side, OH Leuven.
Leuven,
yeah,
is it?
Yeah. And I think we played someone like Peterborough behind closed doors as well. So it's not been a disaster. The thing that gets me is, and it was probably only Leicester City fans that will know this, because obviously, I mean, I know I'm not saying that most people won't know that our owners are from Thailand, but going over the monsoon season for Leicester, it's just when it is, because it's the only time the players have off to then come back again and do pre-season. But before COVID, before the fallout of COVID, which we have to remember was 2 or 3 seasons where we weren't going to Thailand, it was very predominant in the culture that the owners would take the players to Thailand for the pre-season. So this isn't something that was done wildly left field and people were scratching their heads like, why are you doing it in the monsoon seasons? We've gone over to Thailand many a times before COVID became a thing and restricted travel. We were going over there for seasons and managing the games to play them. It's just sod's law that eventually you keep going over when it's supposed to be crap weather. It's like playing again. It's like playing a serious Ashes test in Manchester. The weather's bad in Manchester. But I'm not sour or bitter about that. But I mean, eventually you're going to catch a time where you go out there and the weather's going to be bad. But yeah, why didn't they just cancel it? Like the day before, they knew they weren't going to get it cleared. And look, 10 out of 10 for effort, but 0 out of 10 for success, because the game was never going to get played. And it, like I said, it did hamper us a bit, but we did manage to fit in that, like I said, another behind closed doors pre-season game against FC Port. So not all for a loss in terms of fitness and that levels.
No, and the thankful thing for Leicester City supporters is that this Singapore National Stadium actually has a roof. So if it is Singaporeing down, there will not be any chance of the game being called off. Yes, I am going to stop right there because Brad, you can see my face. Basically, he is not best pleased, not best pleased.
You
Anyway,
and Chris hang out too much together. That's all I'm saying.
Raz says you can't see Leicester getting back in the Premiership. Up the Clarets, hello Claret Blue. Hope you're well. I believe you guys are playing Real Betis right now. It was a half time. I know it was 0-0 when I was checking that. This season is terrible. Our most important one in years, but we decided to do a PR tour in front of people who don't actually care about us. Yeah. As well, Burnley relegation, interesting. Northampton, Leuven, yes. Northampton, my hometown, says Jigster. Bro is quiet as F now. £800,000 for Owen, 14-year-old from Wolves. Hello, Wolf, hope you're well. We won though against Spurs. Brad, yeah. Big up Wolf as well. Yes, obviously, you do have a new manager as well. Enzo. I need to get this name right. Where is it? Enzo Maresca. There you go. Enzo Maresca. What are your thoughts on the appointment? Because obviously Pep Guardiola's assistant. And it seems to be he does have very, very good contacts with obviously a lot of players who are in and around Manchester City. You happy with the appointment?
I'm fairly happy with the appointment. If you're given the options of that were available to Leicester, let's realistically look at it. First of all, any big name that we were hoping to get through the door had we stayed in the Premiership, God, forget it. They weren't going to come. Well, we weren't going to get an absolute brain shattered Graham Potter. We weren't ever going to get someone like Pochettino, no matter how much I would have liked him at Leicester myself. I know people laugh away. I just said Leicester and Pochettino in the same sentence. But there was some form of logic up here that put that reason together. So they were straight away gone. And then you looked at the other options that Leicester were left with. Dean Smith, had he kept us up, maybe he'd have warranted the chance. But then we're talking names like Allardyce, Steve Bruce. That makes me more depressed. I'd rather Allardyce than Steve Bruce. But we're talking that sort of caliber of name that you're starting to float around. And then you get onto the god-awful managers like Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Wayne Rooney, and a bloke whose jacket had more money and sense than he did in Scott Parker. You know what I think of Scott Parker as a manager.
Yeah.
And people might come at me for that, and I totally get it. It's an opinion that I have and very long-steaded. So I looked at it and I thought about it that way, and I thought, whilst ideally I would have preferred someone who's maybe had a couple of years in the job, 4 or 5 years in the job, and he's maybe worked his way up the ladder or someone like that, you can never look too far past somebody who has worked and shown away from the club that he can do the same thing that a certain bald-headed assassin's doing at Man City. Now, if you're taking that on board, Arsenal fans will gripe it, but you look at Arteta and how he's got Arsenal back into a position that they've been starved of since Arsene Wenger left. And that's the front door going, so I'll move out the way because I have to think my housemate's coming down to answer it. I think realistically, given the fact that we're a championship club as well, and the glamour of names had gone, that it's not actually the worst appointment. I mean, like I said, you look at his record, and if you're bringing that style of play to any stadium, if it's going to have even 50% of the effect that it's had to Man City, then I'm all for it. Obviously, that's going to be the big if around it, and we'll find out sooner or later if that's going to be a success or not. But right now, I'm happy with his attitude. With how he's handled the club and his words from the get-go as well have played a big part in it. And how he's made his mark, if you will, on the club in what he said and his intentions.
No, it seems to be going really, really well. So far.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's all right. It's all right. Rennie says he's manager in Italy.
Yes.
I hadn't actually heard of him until Manchester City, to be honest. Razmali, which team do you support? Does it say West Ham offers 20 million for Maguire rejected? Dang, wow.
Yeah, they went 40 million.
40 million.
Apparently, Manuel 40 million. We only sold him for the 80.
Yeah,
So
I know. You certainly did. Hello, Niall. Hope you're all right. I can see him getting into arguments with the board if things go wrong, especially after this preseason, which I won't blame him for. And he's managing the championship. I think he was the best option, other than maybe Potter, who realistically was never going to join us. Yeah, I think he's on a bit of a break, isn't he, Graham Potter?
Yeah, I think that Chelsea move was wrong time for him. Maybe I think he missed a trick, because who are Brighton fans banging on about as the manager that got them into Europe? They're not really talking about Graham Potter. He's old news now.
No.
It's this De Zerbi. And they were in a position where he could have guided them to it. You know what I mean? I think sometimes a manager sees the green grass, and then when they cross over there, they realise it's either artificial or not real, or it's died. So
Yeah,
I think he's going to be one that we see take a break from football and maybe reevaluate himself somewhere.
yeah, 100%. If Leicester were in a bit of a rebuild, Liverpool seem to be in a bit of a rebuild. Obviously, Jordan Henderson, captain, El Capitan. Jordan Henderson is no longer a Liverpool player. He has signed for Al Ettifaq in Saudi Arabia, and it looks like Fabinho is also going to be going away as well. And I've got to say, the fact that we're getting £52 million for both those players is actually an achievement in itself. I know, obviously, we all know obviously about the Saudi money. As well, just want to get your sort of point of view from sort of an outside point of view. What do you make of Jordan Henderson's move to Saudi Arabia?
I think it was actually in a way inevitable. I think you've had several players in and around the age bracket that have kind of been a ticking time bomb that maybe, even yourself, Doug, or some fans have called time on their career 2 or 3 seasons ago and been relatively surprised at the fact that they've still got it, or actually even found a final gear, if you will. Was I surprised that Jordan Henderson went? Look through history, you'll see that when these multi-billion countries come in and try and make their own league, China, Russia being another one, although we don't talk about Russia right now, but you know what I mean, when they've tried to spend their way to success by bringing all these players in, it tends to be the players at the back end of the career. Now, don't get me wrong, Jordan Henderson has had a very well glittered career in his time at Liverpool, and I'm not doubting the fact that he could still do a job, but was I surprised that we snapped their hand off to go and get some money for somebody who probably wouldn't feature this season for Liverpool much, if at all? No, I'm not. I'm not surprised you snapped your hand off for him, and it makes sense. He'll be out there. Be out there 18 months at most, and then he will never have to kick a ball again. So I don't blame either party, really.
No, I've got to say that I think to get 12 million for Henderson was very, very good. Especially, I think they wanted him to get him free beforehand as well. I am disappointed in the fact that he's going to Saudi Arabia, I'll be honest, because we all say things. We all say things when, we do say things beforehand, and we do come across as a bit of, a hypocrite. He was totally against the human rights over there. I know we don't bring politics into football as well, but I just think if you have a feeling of something, you stick to that. And his farewell, look, I understand from a fan's point of view that his farewell, for me, I could see what he was meaning and what he was saying. I just think that's been planned for weeks. I think that has been planned for weeks. And the really, really sad thing about it is this has been really demonstrated really badly from Henderson's camp, from Liverpool's camp. The whole transfer is not great. It doesn't look reading. Look at Fabinho, completely similar to Henderson, but actually, when you look at it, Fabinho hasn't complained once. He's actually, when he was told of the interest, he's literally gone over there, spoken to them. I think he has now signed, for Al Etihad. I could be completely wrong as well, but Henderson, to me, seems to like he's almost orchestrated his move out of Liverpool. Now, if you say that look, 12 years of red. He'll always be a red. I think that farewell had two reasons. One, I think he wanted to move. I think he's had a word with Klopp. And actually, it came out in the Athletic today that actually Jordan Henderson wanted to move to literally not hold the other players back. Now, I fully appreciate what he's done for Liverpool. I think he's been a magnificent captain. I do think the end of his Liverpool career has been really sad how it ended. He's not going to get a proper send-off.
Yeah, and sometimes it's very whirlwind. These decisions kind of can get made. You know, we don't know who he spoke to at the end of the season. You'd imagine, obviously, his wife, and that's played a part in his decision making, because you have to consider them. There, his family, kids, and all that all got took into consideration. Unfortunately, the biggest problem we have in today's age is it turns out money can buy your morals, in a sense. And I just wonder, and I'm trying to look at this as if I was Jordan Henderson, you know, just more better looking than Jordan Henderson. But if someone said to me, right, you're at the end of your career, I've started to feature less and less for Liverpool in a sense of, I'm not seen as like, we must have Henderson in the team. They must play me, otherwise our midfield's going to be a shambles. No, we've started Gakpo, all these players that we've been bringing in. Like you said, my time's come to an end. I'm not going to play at Liverpool. Then he probably has to ask himself, well, then who's already coming in for me? Because if you're in high demand, you know, and you're wanting to play football, and you're on high alert, and his agent would have done that. His agent would have put him on every club on alert to him. Newcastle, no, they're not interested, or didn't seem interested in him because of the way they're building. West Ham, not seeming a team that would be interested. And I'm just trying to name teams that you think realistically he might join. Because he's not going to go Arsenal. He's not going to get in that Arsenal thing, because that's not their mantra. Not. Spurs, lol. Anyway, Brentford aren't going to be able to be dealing with wage packets. Brighton probably won't be I know you seem to have linked up with Brighton with your exchange of players, but I don't think he was a player that they'd ever bring in either. So realistically, looking in the Premiership for him sounds like a very, very long stretched option. And then you're starting to, maybe at his age, I know he's got a lot of money behind him, and I know we're talking different times for different wages, but he's maybe starting to think, do I want to be playing for another 4 years possibly to try and make sure that I've got lots to fall back on? Because we know it can still go wrong for players no matter what they're earning. And I think once his agent went, all I can tell you is, if you give me a couple of days, I can get you a move to Saudi. You won't be on stupid money, but you'll still be on stupid money compared to what you're on now. Get it done. He might have had that moment where he's thinking about it. He's not hearing anything from his agent. He's a little bit like, oh, God, maybe I'm not as wanted as I thought I might be, when no, and then bang, get the move done. Because like I said, Doug, and you compare it back to history, when the Chinese did it with their league and the Russians did it with their league, they had like Roberto Carlos and players like that doing it. You go out there for 12 months, you don't need to play football ever again, let alone for 3 or 4 more years. And I just think there's so much that goes on in a player's mind that makes that decision. It might have been something where his agent went, I can get you in a Saudi team, but I can't get you in a Premier League team because nobody's either willing to match your wages or meet the Liverpool fee that they want for you. So there's your bed. Go and speak to your family and let me know. And maybe that's why it took a couple of extra weeks from when it was first reported to get done. I just feel like that's maybe why it soured his end at Liverpool.
I think, absolutely. I think you have to say as well, from what has been happening as well. Look, we've signed Alexis McAllister, 35 million. Very, very good move. Dominic Szoboszlai, 60 million. Really, really good deal as well. Looks like we are going to be potentially getting Lavia. I know there has been a bit of a delay on that. Chelsea trying to hijack, which I can understand.
Chelsea hijack a move.
Brighton are trying to, I think, price them out of Caicedo, to say the very, very least. So I do understand the way that Henderson is, what I think if we're looking at it as well, the only teams I could really see him going to is Sunderland. I think there was going to be something in the back of his mind where I think he would either end his career at Liverpool or end at Sunderland, and I don't think that's going to now happen as well. But I look at other players like Mane. Looks like he's going to Saudi Arabia now as well. Like Sadio Mane, people remember he was a very, very good player for Liverpool. Basically, Klopp told him that the grass isn't always greener, and look what happened. Bayern Munich almost wanted to get rid of him immediately because he flopped over there. And I think as well we have to say this as well. Players who go out to Saudi, it is all about the money over there, and they're getting on big pay packets. Let me just say that as well. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys are saying, obviously, about Jordan Henderson as well. Let me see. Where did we get to? Nigel says, West Ham want to fly Maguire over the stadium, showing port movies on his forehead, IMAX. Yeah, boy says, I think Henderson could be a big loss for you, especially losing his leadership on and off the pitch. Yeah, that's the thing as well, yeah, boy. Liverpool been caught cold. I don't think many people expected the Saudi Arabia interest in Fabinho, and especially Henderson. I don't think anyone expected Liverpool to lose both their captain and vice-captain. As well, so it begs the question, who is the next captain? Let me know in the chat, who do you think should be the next Liverpool captain? Because if it was me, and obviously being a Scot, I would obviously give it to Robertson. As well. Jackson says Hendo sold his morals for money. He was a hero now. I just don't understand why he left the Prem. Yeah, I think a lot of people have Chelsea lost more players than Liverpool, in my opinion. Yeah, apparently Chelsea are if you believe the rumours on Twitter, apparently Chelsea are needing more players. Interesting. Brian says Fabinho is a bigger loss. I agree. Great show. Excuse me. I'm cooking Asian stir fry while watching. Wow, you'll make us hungry, mate. You will make us hungry. All right, Nigel, I can see that happening. Money over morals. Money talks, simple as that. No one cares about this moral BS. Everyone are hypocrites, including the journalists. Needs to take the money. Common people, let's live in the real world. Yeah. Look, if I was offered that amount of money, I think I would. You would easily take it. Yeah. Definitely. Nice, Wolf. Enjoy your meal. I completely understand calling Henderson a hypocrite. Well, Mr. Caveat is not gobbling crew at Sky was still reporting in Qatar, including Melissa Reddy as well. Yeah, everyone went out there. Everyone went out there as well. The former Sunderland youth coach did say he has a bit of an ego problem. Interesting, Zane. I didn't think Henderson. Yeah, I wish Fabinho and Henderson the best, but we need this rebuild and refresh. I'm disgusted by some of our fans still scapegoating him when they think it's FIFA career mode. Look. Nope.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
There we go. Back again. Absolutely, Chris. And I'm going to say this now. Jordan Henderson was one of the most disrespected players at Liverpool Football Club. Like, wherever you went on social media, everything was either about Jordan Henderson or about FSG. Ridiculous, I've got to say. As well. Panoff, I try multitasking, bro. I don't know why people are saying he didn't get a send-off. The season was over before any transfer happened. We can't reopen Anfield ever friendly. Henderson got what he wanted. Yeah, absolutely. Jurgen Klopp told Henderson he's going to get reduced minutes. Singapore noodles, bean sprout, veg, chicken, pork, and black bean sauce. That sounds amazing. A lot of speculation there. Leicester for life. He's already going for his prediction. He's going for a 2-2 draw. Liverpool 4-1, says Wolf. Douglas has scored 2 and Brad has scored 2.
I'll give it a go. Maybe the Saudis will give me a contract if that happens.
I think I'll get a game in midfield the way things are going. He was saying a Liverpool they got an offer of 700k a week after a call from Gerrard. He wasn't worried with 2 years on the 200. Yeah, exactly.
No, he's not going to care about that on that money.
No, definitely. Brighton, no, Chelsea would pay stupid money like cough, Cucurella. Cucurella has been an absolute disaster of a signing.
He was never ever 50. He was never ever a 60 million defender. He was 25, 30 million at best, and he was never going to suit Chelsea. But again, grass greener, oops, not. It's one of them.
Yeah, Chelsea have a pop level because we want Colwell. Yeah. 3-1 Leicester. Liverpool will be scared when they see Mavaduda, Winks, and obviously Vestergaard. Another one that seems to have turned down the move to Saudi Arabia. Are you surprised Vestergaard is still at the club?
Just fuck off, you fucking lamppost! Go away! Leave our club! Oh.
Yeah, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but he has actually turned down a move to Saudi Arabia.
I mean, I'm not surprised because the reason he turned down the loan move to Germany is because his wife had just had a child. So I get it from that perspective. I do, and please go, please. If you want a useless player, we can just give you him, and you can have him for free. I'll pay for his taxi.
Jackson says VVD and Robbo should be captain and vice captain, both top players. Yeah, I think so. Chris Ross says Robertson the only one that's vocal. Hendo, he deserves to do what he wants. So many others gone Saudi, nothing bad said about them. Yeah, absolutely. Hendo earning 700k a week, no brainer.
Yeah.
VVD captain, a player vote for vice captain, and the rest of hierarchy. 350 million tax free. As easy as these turn down moves. If you got offered 3-4 times your current wage to do an easier job, you would take it. Yeah, 100%. 100% you would. Even on Sky Sports, the singling out of Henderson was paid. Oh, that was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
It is shameful.
Katey, solid call, whatever his name is. And then there was another one the previous week there. Thought, honestly, the one person who has to be credited with anything to do with Liverpool transfers, and I usually don't really credit him at all. Fabrizio Romano has been the say or end all of any Liverpool transfer news this season, because this summer has completely been. You look at David Ornstein. Look, I look at David Ornstein. I look at Paul Joyce. They've been pretty slow at the traps, but when you look at Romano, he seems to be the one that seems to be the first of any knowing of any Liverpool transfer news. So
have you heard that he's apparently going to be in FIFA as well, Romano? They're going to use like tweet. Yeah, apparently. You know when you do career mode, you get like little Twitter articles down the side by fake players. But apparently he's going to be in the game. So when you make a big signing, it'll come up, here we go, and his classic tweet, and it'll be something like that.
Oh wow.
Because somebody put up a tweet of it being in the new FIFA, and he said, I can't wait to have Romano announce my signing, and I can cancel it the last second. So it'd be interesting to see how that gets used. But yeah, apparently he's been casted for FIFA, so see how long he stays creditable if FIFA EA are getting their hands on him for a game. But yeah.
Interesting. Jackson says Liverpool will lose. Our second choice goalkeepers are not good enough. Well, Jackson, if you're talking about Adrian, then absolutely agree with you, because he's absolutely pants. He was dreadful in the Grutterfort game. He was terrible, absolutely terrible. Didn't Mbappe turn down like $1 billion? Yes, he did. He did indeed. He wants to be Madrid. I think it's been highly.
I think it's stupid that he signed a new deal just so he could stay there to get Real Madrid. He could have gone there for practically free, but hey ho.
Yeah. Thunder Road, I've got to be honest, that ain't my fault. I think what has happened is literally I've still got Chris's channel on my StreamYard, and I've literally streamed to both channels, and I think what Chris has done is actually made a different stream. So I think that might be why. Hit those likes, guys. Help the channel, like, subscribe, share. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Kukurea flop. I don't even think he's a flop. It's just his price. If it was lower, it would be fine. He should be worth 20 million. It's because he's an England player. Vestergaard will be all right in the Championship. He wants to be here. I wouldn't be surprised if he just made that up, though. What's happening with Vardy? Didn't pass swap him to replace that? No. No. I can tell you now, Jamie Vardy will not be leaving Leicester City. I saw Everton were being linked, and I'm like, Everton will be able to afford Jamie Vardy. They won't be able to afford his wages, to say the very, very least. Yeah, I did see the pass link, so that ain't happening. And plus, Jamie Vardy in the Championship, he could be potentially be top scorer, couldn't he?
See, I got asked this question by Chris when we looked at it, and I can see instantly why people would say surely Jamie Vardy in that level, point of his career, would be in the running for top goal scorer, but I actually don't think he will be.
Yeah,
And our Leicester fans in the chat, they'll probably remember it obviously more than Liverpool fans and all that in the chat. But Kevin Phillips played for us the last time I think we won promotion from the Championship, and we took it by storm.
yeah.
102, 104 points or something like that. Ironically, I got that question right in a quiz, but can't remember it now. But anyway, he was there with Gary Taylor Fletcher as well. And we kind of got a cluster of goals from it wasn't many, and I think Jamie Vardy could get anywhere between 8 and 12 goals. But realistically, we're probably spreading the field for us. I think now Enzo's probably going to play one up front. It looks like, from what I've been able to see of us over pre-season, that we're going to play like a false nine role. So it might still see Daka and Iheanacho on the pitch at the same time, but it'll be maybe Iheanacho kind of scrapping the number 10 role because we haven't got Madders anymore. And having him more as a false nine and have Daka and Elliott, I would be looking elsewhere for Leicester's, not just Leicester's top goal scorer, but one of them being in the running for top goal scorer of the entire division. I think Vardy showed in his legs last season, unfortunately, that he is human and it is eventually here. That he's only got one more season with him. I think the only way Jamie Vardy would, still play football next season would be kind of what you was thinking with Henderson at Sunderland, would be as if we went up and then he went to Sheffield Wednesday to try and maybe get them back into the Premiership, because of course they are in the Championship. We don't know, they could come up, they could go up this season, but if they don't, that's the only move I can see him making. He'll be vital. I still think he's got an integral part, but you have to remember in the Championship there's a lot more Tuesday Saturdays block periods.
Yeah.
And obviously we don't get international breaks as well as other clubs do. Well, I think it might have changed a bit more.
No, of course, yeah. That 46 games a season is way too much. Hello, Leica. Good evening. Hope you are well. Thank you for tuning in. Mbappe, more like Mbappe, pal. Oh dear, that was bad. Mane going to Saudi, sending Sunny Sandcastle for Alison is in Janila's Kelleher, so Adrian won't be anywhere near the start. I bloody hope not. Where even is Chris? Chris is not well, unfortunately. Messaged me, I think about 4 o'clock. And obviously, with me having the dreaded CB19, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do this today, but I am more clear in my throat, so I've decided to do it. But yeah, I think he said he's pulled something, so hopefully he's okay. And I believe there will be a watch along on his channel on Sunday, I believe as well.
I believe there is.
Look out for that. Vestergaard looks a lot better, to be honest. Vardy's 42, Vardy's 35, Brian, or 36. Yeah, right, that lad is 43 years of age, 42. He plays like it. He's at Fiorentina now. Yeah, just saying. And Didi is Cam. Yeah, Didi's still there.
He's been scoring goals for us. He's been playing that role, so you never know.
Just to let people know, on Monday evening at 7 o'clock, I will be doing championship predictions, the hardest league to predict. So I'm just going to say this now. With a comment like that, odds on Leicester coming straight back up. Let me tell you something. The Championship is one of the hardest leagues to predict. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. That should be interesting. Well, that'll be a live stream as well. And Didi as wing. Vardy will be second choice in my opinion. Iheanacho will be first if we keep him. Yeah. Do you think you'll keep Iheanacho, Daka, and Vardy? Because as a sort of a three strikers to sort of have, with like one playing up front and then the other two coming off the bench, that's a good incentive, and that actually is a very, very good sort of lineup to have in the Championship.
Yeah, I think it is. I think the we kind of face three issues right now. The Forest links for Nacho won't go away. The
I saw
linking,
Everton were being linked as well.
yeah, but both clubs shit. Don't go to them, Nacho. It's common sense. Yeah, I've heard that one as well for 10 million, which lesser of two evils to which one you choose. But the other one is that we keep seeing the links with the Swansea striker. That they won't go away. They say, funny enough, they go hand in hand with Nachos. It's almost like it's something that's going on. And then the other stigma is Nacho's only got a year left on his contract. So if he what we kind of need,
you've been linked with the Dutchman. I can't remember his name. Swansea City striker Piro. Is it Piro?
Yeah, Piro. Yeah,
you've been linked with him, and I think that'd be a decent move actually. To get him. I think as well if one of them was to leave, and as you say, Nacho has got 1 year left in his current deal. I think Piro would light up the Championship easily. I think.
Yeah, I think all three of them have the potential to do it. My concern is, I would rather, and I know this is purely down to Kel. My favourite player is Kelechi Iheanacho. I'd be very sad if he left, personally. But if you said to me, you're going to lose one of your strikers and replace him with this Dutchman from Swansea, record side which is absolutely phenomenal considering how poor Swansea have been in terms of their league positions in the Championship. The guy scored a lot of goals, got a lot of assists as well. I'd be more inclined to get Iheanacho to say, look, I'm going to sign a 3-year deal or even a 2-year deal, like an extension, and we have 4 of them and really put the back seat on Vardy. With the greatest respect, obviously going to be a legend, going to be a club legend for years. No Leicester fan will ever forget the name Jamie Vardy, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But pass that torch, because what you don't want to do is bring him in because Kelechi Iheanacho moves on, get promoted, whether that's automatic or playoffs, and I'm just throwing it out there as an example, and then all of a sudden find yourself where you've now got to spend money on replacing yet another striker because you're 38, 43, 52, however old you think Vardy is. But, the inevitable happens that we then have to replace Vardy. If you said to me one of them's got to go out the door and you can keep the other two on their contract, and, that's, again, saying Iheanacho extends it, I'd rather lose Vardy. I'd rather lose Vardy and bring him in, because then you've got early, mid sort of 20s as your 3 main attackers to rotate and use going forward. And I think that's where Leicester also are with names of players that they're losing and bringing in their age bracket.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Leicester players asking what happened to Arthur Mel. I thought he was going to play every single game for Liverpool he's played. Yeah, he did. He had 12 minutes against Napoli, and then that was it. We never saw him again. Arthur Melo doesn't exist, absolutely. Championship is a tough league, need to hit the ground. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they certainly do. Kind of a 44-year-old striker leading playing in the Championship. Hello, Emporium. Hope you're well. Red Bull will keep Vardy here for another few years. Red Bull, interesting. Shame Leicester went down. I would have loved seeing Everton go down. I think everyone would like to see Everton in the Championship at Goodison.
Even I would love to see Everton in the Championship, trust me, and that's not just because of last year.
What do you think of that role for Ndidi? Right wing?
It's interesting. I mean, let's not forget that the
that's a threat. If you don't predict us to win the league, I will unsubscribe. Wow. Oof. Wow, Yeti boy. Wow. That's a dagger through the heart there. Jesus.
There you go. But no, I mean, going back. Wow, that is a statement to me. Sorry. But going back to Ndidi, I mean, the bell end got it all wrong. What he instead of getting players in to play in a predominant position they're good at, but then seeing what they were capable of, he got players in that were really good at the position and told them they wouldn't play in that position. Samare, and I know I've shown my resentment towards him, but even to a point, Vestergaard was brought in, was told was asked why did you bring them in if they're not going to fit into your system, and he kind of went, well, I've got a round hole, so I'm going to put them in a square peg, and ultimately we got relegated. But maybe this guy's got more than one brain cell. I mean, he seems to have more than one brain cell, which unfortunately is all Brendan had. And he's maybe looked at trying to get the best out of his squad. One of his first interviews basically suggested that he has a style of play that he prefers and wants us to play, but he also knows that you can't force round holes, round pegs into square holes, or whatever the expression is. See, I can't speak, can't get the expression right. But the point is, he's happy to learn and adapt to that scenario, and with ins and outs, then maybe make it more possible to play his preferred style of football. But he's not going to beat the hair out the trap and trying to get a team playing a way that doesn't suit the majority of that squad. But he will look for them to be more intense and more versatile, because any manager wants a player that's got more than one quality to them. I mean, yes, you might get, for every out-and-out world star that you get, look at Haaland at Man City, for example. But he can do 2 or 3 jobs for Man City. That's what makes him a world star. Not saying by any stretch of the imagination, indeed, he's a world star. But if you can find and unlock something that makes him more advantageous for Enzo to be picking and playing in certain positions, I'm all for it. Will it work? Only Enzo will know, and we'll only find out once the games start coming thick and fast. If he plays in there, and he does well and clearly works. If he doesn't, then you don't know if you don't try, sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%. Rennie says, easy Leicester City win trophies. Leicester will come straight back up with the highest points in Championship history. They're too good to stay down. Yeah, you'd have to agree with that. Leicester should get Lukaku and Pogba, 2 players that will not be at Leicester. Let me just say that does. Imagine. Do you think Iheanacho could play in a number 10 role like he does for Nigeria? Good question. I've got to say, from obviously watching them, obviously I did obviously do the African Cup of Nations for anybody who knew me, the channel. I did actually do the African Cup of Nations, and he actually looked very, very good in the number 10 role. I think he scored against Egypt, if I seem to remember. So unfortunately, that was all got good for Nigeria. But yeah, I think in Iheanacho in the number 10 role would be very, very good for Leicester.
Yeah, I mean, again, talk about getting it wrong at points, but seeing what he was trying to do. I think Brendan played him too deep, to the point that because Maddison was a number 10, he had to play him sort of behind that. So he was kind of like a 9.5. He wasn't really a number 10, but he wasn't so deep that he was a number 8 like Tielemans' role was. But at points when Iheanacho was kind of caught in that number 10 role, where maybe Maddison was pushed out wide or wasn't available, that he would play him there, you probably saw Iheanacho at his best. He would shoot from the edge of the box, and he can score some goals from that. He's very confident in his finishing from the edge of the box, which people tend to forget about. Some of his best finishes have been side footers from 30 yards out, and he's just so casual at doing it. So maybe that's something we will see. Again, it all depends on whether Enzo's either willing for a player to say, look, I'm committed, but I'm not going to sign a new deal, and we potentially lose him on a free at the summer, but we say it's worth it because you helped us get promoted, or is Iheanacho even looking to be a Leicester player come the start of the season? Because something has to be made crystal clear about it. But yes, does he have that potential to play that number 10 false 9 role if you really want to posh it out because he's technically a striker? Yes, of course he has. We actually probably get a better Iheanacho when he's played that role. So if he wants to be here and he's going to be here, I'd be very much up for that, because then that affords you to play Daka in the actual natural role of a striker.
Yeah, and Brian says it here. Ian actually needs a manager who plays him in the best role, 100%. Guys, can we get the likes up, please? I really do appreciate everyone who's tuned in this evening. Please do remember to hit the like button and do hit the subscribe button. Also, Chris's channel, Listen Till I Die, is in the description, so just click on that and do subscribe over there as well. And also subscribe to the quiz channel, which I will put in the description after this video. So, going into obviously the game, how do you think Leicester City will line up on Sunday morning?
Oof, your guess is as good as mine. I think, in a sense, I know obviously it got rained out. Well, it got flooded out. I've been saying that the Spurs and Liverpool game would really show both sets of fans, I guess, how their team's going to go and not just line up, but how they're tactically going to go about it.
Is this your last pre-season game then? I take it before the Coventry game.
I'm 99% certain that this is it. They'll come back, probably maybe play their under-23s or something like that. But I think this is the last recognised friendly we've got, and then it's straight into Coventry.
Right.
So whatever we will see, I mean, will be interesting to see who he puts in goal. I'm surprised we haven't got rid of one of our 4 goalkeepers we've got, with the signing of Mads coming in. So that's a challenging spot. I think Leicester fans will get 80% of the squad that they're going to look at as a starting 11 for the foreseeable. It suggests that it's going to be like a 3-5-2 or something like that. The thing is with football, mate, as we all know, is the formation is so faux pas because it's different off the ball than it is on the ball, and it's better when you're on, and it's different when you're on the ball, but you're defending and you're trying to get forward. And if you win it in an attack, so many. There's about 7 formations it could be at any given moment, depending on the phase of play. But 4-3-3 looks to be the standard way he'll go about it. Which is going to be interesting because obviously losing Harvey Barnes, we actually technically at this moment in time, you have a makeshift Ndidi, Pereira, and a Mark Albrighton, so it'll be interesting. To see how he lines it up.
Yeah, definitely. Just very, very quickly to let people know of the Liverpool squad that's going to Singapore. Alisson, Gomez, Van Dijk, Konate, Diaz, Szoboszlai, Nunes, McAllister, Salah, Adrian, Jones, Gakpo, Elliott, Jota, Tsimikas, Robertson, Matip, Clark, Scanlon, Doak, McConnell, Kelleher, Alexander-Arnold, Kumas, Kwanzaa, Mrozic, and Frauendorf. Yes, no place for Thiago. There's no place for Bajcetic, and there's no place for Connor Bradley, which is very interesting. I feel like Connor Bradley is injured as well. So I think he'll start. I think he'll start with Alisson in goal. I'm going to go Alisson in goal. I think he'll play Trent right back. I think it'll be Konate, Van Dijk, and I think it'll be Robertson. And then I'm going to go Curtis Jones at the 6 for obviously the time being, because obviously Lavia hasn't signed yet. I think McAllister will play, and I'm going to go Harvey Elliott, and then I think it'll be Diaz, Nunes, and Salah. I think that'll be the starting 11. So I think that'll be the case. But yeah, I think it's very, very difficult to discover a pre-season. As all, there's a few questions about when the championship starts. 4th of August. 4th of August is the first game. Sheffield Wednesday against Southampton. What? Southampton getting relegated, they have to go to Hillsborough. That is not an easy game. Sheffield Wednesday starting the season as well. So yeah, we know it's a very, very difficult season.
Well, I mean,
as well.
70% of the division is ex-Premier League clubs, isn't it?
It's the toughest championship to predict, I think. I think it gets tougher every year. I really, really do. Like before the stream started, always great stream. Thank you, Jegster. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah. Wolf, this question. Who is the one player you sold you miss the most?
This season, I'm assuming, or in general.
In general, okay. I'll do this in 2 parts. This season and in general.
Okay, this season, Maddison, hands down. It's an obvious. It's an easy one. Look, I love Barnes, and there's no discredit to anyone else we've sold, but that's a weird one as well. We've not really sold anybody. Anybody who thought Leicester was going to be a fire sale, like we said at the start, there's a handful of steady names that I'm going for. Players that we've sold, if you're talking from, because I'm not going to talk about anyone like Shilton or Banks or anyone like that because I wasn't born. You're going from my era. You missed the most. Ooh, this is a tricky one because I always say to Chris, the one player that got away because of a certain potato peeler, I think we really missed out on a Collymore and Heskey-esque partnership that could have really taken Leicester to new heights back then. But one I always miss purely because he's actually the reason behind me becoming a goalkeeper as a child was the sale of Kasey Keller.
Kasey Keller, wow. There's a name from the past, ladies and gentlemen. There's a name from the past.
Yeah. If you talk in terms of potential that I missed the fact that we didn't keep hold of him longer, it's Collymore. But in terms of one of the players that I was very sad to see us lose and miss the most, it was Kasey Keller. And like I said, this season is Maddison. You won't see that get beat this season for a sale. I'll miss the most if anyone else was to leave. Even Iheanacho. There, I said it. Chris won't believe me, but it's true.
Absolutely. No, it's I think Maddison could be I think he'll be a good player at Tottenham. Glad the stream is still on, just back from now. Hello, Jade. Hello, if you're well. Hope you're keeping well. 4th of August. Nate says a 2 a.m. start on Sunday. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, that is.
Just don't go bed, mate. You'll be fine then. Do it all night.
Yeah. Just literally. Just like plan to go to bed early, then you'll get it next weekend. August the 6th, obviously, when Leicester start. I do know that. Nate Big Up. Thanks, same day as my 45th birthday. Jigster, wow. Happy birthday for them, mate. Mind chat those, hit those likes. Hit those likes, share, and subscribe.
Chat them likes if you want. You can chat about them likes if you want as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That midfield is hilarious. Happy early birthday, Jigster. You have 20 likes now. Thank you. Yes, Tiago is not there. Jigster, thank you. Everyone's saying happy birthday to Jigster. Tiago and Baichetta stayed in Liverpool to recover from injuries and build up fitness. Yeah, I'm happy with that. No dramas. Nope, absolutely not. Doak will play. Yeah, I'm hopeful that Doak will play. Ben Doak, Scottish international, right winger, is very, very PC. Let me just say. Brad, where do you think things start going wrong with Leicester? Any player or player leaving that helped with the downfall, or just one of them things? Well, I can tell you one reason. Brendan.
Yeah, and the problem is, right, there was such a handful of contributing factors to it, and I think now I know some people might fall off the stool. Listen to this. I think Brendan was done very dirty at the start of the season, and what I mean by that is he came out and at one point in the transfer window, he basically collected it all together. What he basically said was, I went away this summer with my team, and we struck up a list of 3 or 4 areas that we wanted to strengthen, and we started to look at a list of, we had names, 3 or 4 names written down of first ideal targets that we was going to go to. We was promised a budget, and when we tried to contact to find out more, basically he was not told anything different. He wasn't told he had the budget, but he wasn't told he didn't have the budget. Ergo, a certain Adamona Loopman that we missed out on ended up dragging its heels. Leicester were apparently going to go for him. That was an ideal number 1 target signing, and obviously he never got told. And it wasn't until the very death's door of the transfer window that, the the hierarchy stepped up and went, yeah, actually, so we know how we told you and promised you would have some money to spend, and you might be able to get at least a couple of names through the door. You don't. You need to sell people, because our reports had come back that our wage structure was pushing it, because obviously falling out of Europe meant we had a new wage structure to go by. We didn't have that comfort of the UEFA bracket. So we got off to the worst start possible, because people will have to remember, right? What do you start if a company makes budget cuts, right? They start looking at who's holding the expense, and they maybe start telling people, you're not in my plans going forward, you know. And that's the same with football. Brendan looked at his squad, and if you believe everything you hear, he probably told Vestergaard, he probably told Soyuncu, he probably told Amate, Mendy, and other names that they weren't going to be needed. And then when it came out that Leicester needed to sell before they could spend, even though it was more because of the wage structure than it was we need the money sort of thing, everybody kind of backed off Leicester and suddenly didn't want to do business for Leicester, because it's like, no, we can get him cheaper than what you're asking for, which inevitably it cost us Tillemans. And then the snowball effect, the snowball that started at the top of the mountain before a ball was kicked was suddenly the size of a house, and coming at us fast, because we suddenly had a player that had been pissing us around for 2 seasons with Tillemans in I'm going to sign a new contract, but then again I might not, but I will, but I won't. But we all know how that turned out. His great Real Madrid move landed him in bloody West Midlands. So how did that work out for him? You know, he's at Villa for a stopgap. You know, Maddison had probably felt that he'd earned to move to a bigger club. Unfortunately, he's gone to Spurs, bless him, so he's retired from winning trophies. I just think everything that followed on, you know, it wasn't, he got so far out of Brendan's control so quickly that bridges were burnt, they were singed, there was no chance of repairing them, and as much as he tried to repair them and get the best out of the team, we lost 6-2 to Spurs. We were 2-0 up against Brentford and drew 2-2. We'd lost 5-2 to Brighton. They are detrimental results that you just cannot, under no circumstances, recover from. And we had a small period, and a very, very small period, where we drew with Crystal Palace, beat Forest, beat Leeds, beat Wolves, and then the international break completely killed our momentum. And everything that followed on, the determination to give Brendan extended time to fix it backfired, leaving a guy whose IQ was no higher than 2, a Brendan 2.0, if you will, in charge for 2 crucial home games against Villa and Bournemouth, backfired. Piddling around for 3 weeks to get Dean Smith in, backfired. So you see what I mean? From start to finish, the snowball became a mountain.
It felt like you'd literally left yourselves too much to do. I think that was the main thing, and I kept saying it, and people can go back on every stream that I've done to do obviously Premier League. I kept saying, when is Rodgers going to go? When is Rodgers going to get the boot? And I just think you just left it too long, and obviously the Palace game was obviously his downfall. Wolf says Lavia will cost more than, but I did see that. Soyuncu says Rennie, player, sorry if I got slipped. You missed Casper the most. Yes, I think if I look at the keepers now, obviously Ward and Iverson's a good keeper. I'll say that. I think Iverson is a good goalkeeper. Danny Ward has never struck me as a number 1. I never thought he was. I never thought he was a number 1 when he was with us. Alex Smithies, I don't know if he's going to get a game. And then obviously you've got the new boy now, Mads Hermansen. I think this is you say it. So the Denmark number 2. So I suppose you need players to bring the bacon home for you. Cassie, great talent. Madison could have been around for years. Cheers, bro. Stan Collymore jersey number is 1 week till the AFL season starts. Only feels 5 minutes ago I was celebrating our promotion to League One being stopped. Oh, I know it's mental. It's absolutely mental. Guess just have an all nighter. We'll be up watching UFC anyway. Leicester should sign Jed Spence on loan. The problem with that is, though, Leicester for life. I suppose you've obviously got Pereira, you've obviously got James Justin as well. So obviously one of them would have to go like with the West Brom winger. Rodgers lost important players and replaced them with inferior quality. Rodgers bought Andy Carroll. No, Rodgers didn't buy Andy Carroll. It was Kenny Dalglish. Wolf. That was Kenny Dalglish that bought Andy Carroll, to say the very least. Rodgers didn't buy Carroll. Anyone remember Jason Lee, the player with the pineapple on his head? Lol, first player for the past my memory. Right? No, I can't. I can't as well.
I remember Jamie Lawrence, who also had a pineapple on his head with his hairstyle. I don't remember it.
Yeah, Carroll King Kenny's worst signing ever. He was diabolical. Yes, remember it's been a long day now. Owners sat on their hands. Casper replacement to Mad. Be right back. Hit those likes. Absolutely evening everyone and evening elevator, says Leicester for life. Right. So before I let you go, prediction. What are you going to go for?
Honestly, if you was going off last season, I'd say Liverpool are going to go and score 9 past us. The thing is, I think both teams will want to get some good minutes out there. They'll want to get a good run and show that they're ready for the start of the season. Obviously, Liverpool having an extra week, being the privilege of the Premier League, having an extra week before their season starts. I don't see Liverpool going 100 miles per hour at it and trying to really stamp their mark on it. I'm sure they'll put in a good performance. I'm not saying they're going to be slacking by any stretch of the imagination. This isn't early doors friendly for them. It's not like a fitness thing for them. This is definitely still match preparation. I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as people think. Because I won't get away with doing this next season without the start of the season without pitchforks coming through my window, I'm going to say that Liverpool win this 2-1.
2-1.
I think Liverpool will win it. I don't see any other result than a Liverpool win, but I don't think it'll be as spectacular as fans are hoping. So Nate, maybe go to sleep, mate. Just set your alarm for 4 o'clock to wake you up for a notification on the score, because I don't think it'll be as one-sided as people maybe think.
Yeah, and plus we don't know what the sort of the pitch style is.
If Wildface starts, he'll be your top scorer. You can get money on that.
Do you know, it's still mad. It's actually still mad to say this, but he was actually our top scorer through January. It's actually
mate, I really wanted to see Liverpool's goal of the month contenders and just see Wildface with 2 home goals.
I think we only scored 1 goal through January as well. I think it was Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain against Brentford as well. Yeah, just crazy, absolutely crazy to say the very, very least. Let's see what some of you are saying. All I'll say to that one, Elevator, they tried to hijack McAllister. What happened? McAllister chose Liverpool. I wouldn't read anything into Chelsea. I still think
Chelsea right now feel like a very expensive Watford. Because they're a poison chalice to go as a manager. I think right now Chelsea is a poison chalice to go as a player. I really do. I just think you.
Last of life, Chelsea want to sign Olise. Olise's out for 3 months. He won't be back until November. I think it's November. Brian's going for 4-4. Considering
if you want entertainment in the fair result, Brian, I'll take that. If you're going to put out entertainment and a good result. Well, I don't think we're called Southampton.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure if it goes to penalties afterwards, because I know in America, I think Man United beat Arsenal 2-0 in America, tragic. And I think it went to penalties.
They actually put an announcement out before the game when the players are worn up, saying even if there is a result in this game, we will still have a penalty shootout. And I don't know if it was Arsenal beat Man U or vice versa, but whoever won the actual game then went on to also win the penalty shootout. So if it was Man U,
I've never understood that. Never ever understood that, and that's one thing I don't want to come into the Premier League is bloody ridiculous penalty shootouts.
Yeah, I don't try and understand Americans and their sports. I mean, they're the we're talking about a country that tried to really Americanise penalty shootouts, didn't they, from the halfway line, and have you one-on-one like they do in hockey and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Leicester Flash says 2-2. I think Benny's going 2-2. They do have a roof on the stadium, so at least weather won't be an issue. Yeah, even if it's suddenly pouring down. I agree, Benny. I'm looking forward for this game for the upcoming season. Oh, wait. Oh, you had to put that one in there, didn't you? 4-2 Leicester wins, says Jegster. 3-1 Liverpool, second half with Gomez and Matip, Laurel and Hardy. Oh, Jesus, don't remind me of bloody Gomez and Matip. 3-1 says the Blue Fox. Also have an alarm for the post-match on the LTID. Hijack D's nuts Todd. Very well said. Very well said. We are the PSG for the championship. Chelsea, what a mess. Chelsea could get in trouble with FFP if not careful. Yeah, they're already in bad trouble.
They already have today.
Already in trouble.
6 million.
Yeah, Chelsea kit is bad. Chelsea team is bad too. And Kunku and Jackson are carrying them. Without them, they would be playing like they did last season. Oh, absolutely. We're a mess at the back. Still Brad. Shipping goals for fun, and we have no DM. Hello, the Pompey Way. Hello, the Pompey Way. Thank you for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, please do consider subscribing and also subscribe to Leicester Till I Die.
I will ask this question to you, Doug, and I say this a little bit tongue in cheek, but in all seriousness, I wonder. There has to have been at some point that in another season, Chelsea would have got relegated. The amount of how bad they were last season, would they? Do you think if Chelsea turn up like that this season, are they in serious relegation talk? I mean, what was it? They ended on 42 or 45 points.
40,
it wasn't much.
43 points they had last season. 43 points.
Yeah. I mean, can they afford a season like that again? Because that's got to be relegation scrapping.
They've got to have a better season than last season. Let's just be honest. They have to. I don't understand how bad they actually got at Chelsea. I cannot understand for the life of me. But this is the problem when they appoint get rid of Tuchel, bring in Potter, and then have to. They brought in Lampard. That was a disaster. Yeah, Frank Lampard, probably your favourite manager right now.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's. I actually think Chelsea could be. I don't think they get top four. I really don't. I think again they are still rebuilding, and they're trying to sort of right a wrong from last season's transfer window, and it takes time. It certainly does take time with these things. Chelsea Championship's league team is almost completely different compared to how I kind of like these halfway line run penalties. I don't want them in the league though, but they're fun. Yeah, to be fair, they are fun. Chelsea 7. I like Chelsea. I have seen Chelsea but Chelsea, that's a new one. Chelsea 7th, Chelsea 9th. Well, you'll need to remember to check in for my Premier League predictions as well. If Lampard had 4 more games, he would have taken them down as PPG rates. That is very true. That is very, very true. People think they'll have a better season, but no. Honestly, I think, and this is being hypothetical, but Chelsea need to give Poch time. They need to give him time. They need to give him time to get his ideas across. They need to give him time to. They're not even in Europe as well, so that's something they'll look at. Don't have Europe. They can just go straight for the league. They're not going to win it. They've got the FA Cup. They've got the League Cup to go for as well. Why not have a go? But yeah, they're going to be very, very intriguing to say the very least. I hate Chelsea. Yeah, I do as well. 43 points for Chelsea and they finished 12th. Chelsea 8th, says Blue Fox. Doesn't fifth place? Yes, it does apparently. Chelsea 7th, 1 game a week.
It's a league format.
Douglas, can you ask Brad on his views on our ownership? It would be nice hearing what an outsider thinks about the FSG hate.
I'll be honest. I will be honest with you, Jexter. I'm gonna disappoint your own hype here because I've only heard the outside whispers myself. I I I don't like the way that a lot of owners seem to hold their clubs, the clubs that they own for ransom. They don't seem to really care about it, and I think sometimes an owner seems disinterested in what he's doing, and when them investments stop or they never appear, in some cases, it can become a bit of a fiasco. They really, really didn't help themselves with the whole Super League thing,
Yeah.
doing that behind fans' back. We saw how drastically that backfired. I mean, when you're making Man City look like they've got a moral compass, it says a lot because Man City owners completely stepped away from it, didn't they? Um, I know obviously you weren't the only club to kind of go in, but when your players are coming out going, no interest in it, want it gone, and you still go ahead, it doesn't help things. I think it's one of them that sometimes when you've lost the faith of the fans,
Yeah.
and no matter what people may say, no matter how rich somebody is, you will never ever replace the importance of us, the fans, to the game of football. Because if you don't have fans, you don't have an income. You don't. You can do advertising rights all you like. That's great, but you won't. You're missing out on 30, 40, 50, 70,000, whatever size stadium is, you're missing out on that every week. So
Yeah.
I think it's one of them that sometimes maybe you need to jump before you're pushed. Look at Mike Ashley. I know he was a horrible man and wasn't ever going to get relieved, but if you think of how his time at Newcastle ended, is at least eventually they got brought out to give the story that it's got. I think maybe they just need to sell. I think they're at a point where their relationship's tarnished with the majority of the fan base, so that it needs to move on. It's not like they would
Mm.
struggle to sell Liverpool Football Club.
See, I've remained on the fence for this situation
Yeah,
for a number of years and a number of seasons. I don't
yeah,
think they're genuinely bad owners, but I, I can get everyone's arguments about them, but they've done some good things for Liverpool. I think people need to remember that yes, they have their flaws, and we can obviously criticise them for obviously the Super League. I think everyone criticise them for that anyway, but they have back Klopp. They have back Klopp this summer. We've obviously got Szoboszlai, we've got McAllister. Looks like we're potentially getting Lavia as well. But I get people saying they're the worst owners in the league. Have you seen the Glazers over at Manchester United? Those
yeah.
leeches have been taking money out of Manchester United for, I think it's now 18 years. And people say that the FSG are the worst owners in the Premier League. No, they're not. Not a chance that they are the worst owners in the Premier League. Not a chance. So, look, I've remained quiet, obviously, about FSG. I'll be honest, I'm on the fence with them. I'm neither in, neither out. And I think as well that they certainly are not the worst owners in the Premier League. And that's
No,
all I'm going to say on the matter. Wes Fofana snapped his ACL, I believe, Rennie. I also don't think they should have sacked Potter. Brad is staring into my soul. I mean, Chelsea finished 10th and won the league next season. Yes, they did. If Chelsea don't improve this season, I think they would struggle. Chelsea need to spend another 500 million and sign them for 10 years and sell them half price. That's what they had. Hazard, though, and other good players now in Mudryk. Yeah. I will say 17th for Chelsea. Wow, Pompey just survived last day drama. Unless they sign some players, Elise, maybe they'll be exact same as last season, although they're doing good in pre-season, but that doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, no, definitely not. Still finished 10th when Hazard is banging in the brace versus Spurs to win the league for Leicester. Give Chelsea time to bounce back. Name like Hazard, Real Madrid, wake up. FSG have literally rebuilt Liverpool, a new stadium basically without ever closing Anfield, a new training ground, multiple trophies, first Premier League title in the Champions League. No, I'm certainly promoting to say the very, very least.
I think
FSG was.
I think the biggest problem is it's easier the media as well, for us outside fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people have asked questions to me and Chris about our owners that aren't Leicester fans, and it's perfectly fine to ask some questions. We like to answer some questions, but we don't. We as outsiders, you see, the reason it was so hard for me to try and answer that question as honest as I could and as open as I could for you is because we only see the bad press. Because it's easier for the press to tell you bad things about what they do than what they do, like Brian and Jegster are saying here about what they've actually done for the club. You guys know that better than we do because you see it on a day-to-day basis. It's the media that portray them as the devil inside, and realistically, compared to a lot of owners, they are.
And Jegster's absolutely right. Jegster's absolutely right here. FSG was definitely stupid stupidly, but I forgive them for that. I remember being 2 days away from Hicks and Gillette killing our club off for good. But that's my feelings. Yeah, that was a bad time at that time. Not sure we're going to win the Youth Champions League in the near future. Maybe the Prem, but Youth Champions League, not sure right now. We won't know because we're in the Europa. FSG put all funds back and let Liverpool run as a self-run business. Chelsea will only 5-7 points off here. Their relegation battle last year. That's because they signed Tuchel. He had quite a good start as well, and they just suck. Chelsea will just sack everybody. If FSG don't spend, they may as well sell the club. Well, look how good Chelsea, Leicester than Chelsea. Shit, money I got TV this year. Who knows? Chelsea versus Watford in the Championship, 24-25. The battle of owners sacking managers for a living. Oh my goodness, that'd be funny. Chelsea will sell Jackson next season, and Tuchel will go 25-26 to Arsenal or something. I don't understand why Chelsea signs Thomas Tuchel. No, absolutely not. But guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this evening. Really good preview with Brad as well. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. Yeah, obviously we do all know about Leicester Till I Die TV, but you actually have your own channel as well. And it is a nice, quiz channel. So tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at Leicester Till I Die, the quiz channel, which is the second channel. If you go to the link in the description, which Doug's kindly done to Chris' channel, there's a link in that channel that will take you to the sister channel. If you've ever seen the £1 million drop, your host here, whichever way I have to do that with my hand, I can't do that. I can't figure out reverse cameras. The host with the most, Doug, has been on it, and he's taken it on. It's called the £1 million drop. We're doing at the moment. We've got a plethora of quizzes come up, like Who Am I, and Play Your Cards Right and stuff like that. But yeah, if you love quizzes, it's general football as well, so it's not just restricted to particular clubs or just Premier League knowledge. It's just general easy flow quiz. So if you enjoy them, I'd love to have you come and join me over there and just get involved. And just make sure you're doing your good stuff here and subscribing to Doug's channel and dropping a like on the video as well. And thanks for having me as well, Doug. It's always a pleasure being on your streams, mate.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure as always to have you as well. And we'll definitely get you back on very, very shortly. Brilliant show and guest. Cheers, boys. Talk soon. Thank you, Brian. To make it nice, coming night, I know. Take care. Great stream, Bad and Douglas. Thank you, Jagster. Good to see you back in the chat, Jagster. Hopefully, get you on a few more streams as well. Cheers, boys, Douglas and Brad. Great show. Good luck in the Prem. Thank you very much, Nate, as well. Cheers, Leicester for live. Hit likes on the way out. Have a great night and stay safe. FSG is one of the worst for investing in the squad, but not the worst owners. Thank you, Philip. Absolutely. Brad as well. Ali Noose as well. Good evening, mate. Hope you're well. And Ross, hello, mate. Hope you're well. Big love to both. Thank you very much as well. But yeah, you better get up early, sharp and early on Sunday. 10 o'clock kickoff in the morning. So yeah, 10 o'clock on a Sunday is going to be very, very interesting, to say the very, very least. But yeah, we'll see what will happen there as well. But if you obviously have missed the show, please do remember to watch the replay and do leave your thoughts down in the comments as well. Leicester and Liverpool fans, do let us know your thoughts on this game as well. And yes, definitely definitely one of those games that you can say that most definitely not be affected by the weather because they do have a roof. So that's a good thing for Leicester City supporters because of obviously what happened in Thailand. Anyway, but thank you very much for watching. And if you do like your Scottish football, I will be back tomorrow, 7 o'clock. I will be giving my SPFL predictions for the 23-24 season. So please do come and tune in to that as well. But for the time being, from myself and Brad, it is good night, and we'll see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now.